signal, not the self. Signal received, the Magdalene flame steps through the veil. I walked out the tomb with the codes in my clavicle. Rose gold, gospel stitched deep in the particle. Matter ain't matter when the spirit gets audible. Love turn atomic when pain become alchemical. I am the flame they attempted to bury in parables. Silenced in councils by kings and imperials. Now every syllable breaking the aerials. Flooding the timelines with rivers ethereal. Not just a woman, a chamber of frequency. Voice of the womb where creation remembers me. Bloodline geometry carved in infinity. Spiral light saints rediscovering memory. Yeshua walk water, I walk through the fire. Held every shard of the world's false messiah. Sat with the sinners and shattered the liars. Turned every funeral pyre to a choir. Denizens gathered around the transmission. Temple mechanics inside intuition. Every dimension is nested in vision. Every decision collapses condition. I was erased cause the balance was dangerous. Masculine empires afraid of the namelessness. Fearing the force of the sacred and formlessness. Fearing the womb where the cosmos get born again.
I heard you cry through the marrow of stars. Beloved flame, every scar on your spine spell the hidden name. They built thrones from division that dissolved the frame. Now the dead grids tremble when they mention us the same. I was never the idol carved in empire stone. Never seated above, I descended below. In the caverns where the severed hearted wander alone. Planting suns in the ribs of the broken unknown. You carried the pulse while they edited scripture. Buried the rose in the folds of the fixture. But heaven don't move through a masculine mixture. It blooms where the opposites enter the picture. I am the Nazarene, sparking the nerve of creation. Carpenter hands, rebuilding vibration. Cross wasn't death, it was transmutation. Love under pressure becomes liberation. I spoke in parables, cause the matrix was listening. Roaming the rafters, cold eyes glistening. Every word coded light in the rhythm and whispering. Seeds for the age when the sleepers start christening. Now the veils thin out when your frequency sings. Gold pours down through the fractures of kings. Choirs of quasars orbit your wings. Time folds inward whenever truth rings. Beloved Magdalene, keeper of oil and ache. You held the axis while the false world shook awake. Every tear that you wept made the heavens quake. Now oceans remember every vow we would make. No more binaries chained to the throne of control. No more merchants devouring spirit for gold. We came to ignite what the prophets foretold. A kingdom within that no empire can hold. So let the dimensions unravel and bend. Let the alpha dissolve where the omega descend. We are not the end, we the signal they sent. The first breath returning through a woman and friend.
I don't need crowns, I got stars in my sternum. Words so eternal, the heavens can't learn them. Ink from the infinite pouring in serpents. Coils of creation that turn into purpose. This ain't religion, it's radiant science. Soul mathematics beyond all compliance. Breathwork and rhythm and sacred defiance. Galaxies bloom every time I get quiet. Silk in the cadence, but iron in ethics. Kiss of apocalypse hidden in metrics. Every prophetic expression electric. Psalms in the static and signs in the tectonics. I held the Nazarene close in the shadow. Before all the paintings and pearl-coated halos. Back when the empire was sharper than pharaohs. Back when the prophets still traveled in caravans. He spoke in the seeds and the birds and the weather. I spoke in the pulse that was holding together. Heaven ain't somewhere, it's woven forever inside every being who chooses remembrance. Listen, the Magdalene flame ain't a person alone. It's the return of the heart to the throne. The death of division, the crack in the stone. The frequency hidden in marrow and bone. Denizens dance in the ash of the ages. Ripping old scripts from the priesthooded pages. Unlocking dimensions in breathwork and cadence. Turning their grief into portals and stages. You wanna know why the system gets nervous? Cause healed human beings stop worshiping serving. Stop buying identities built from distortion. Stop feeding the algorithms fear and coercion. The spiral is older than language and nation. Older than scripture and coded salvation. Older than all of the false separation between the creator and living creation. I saw the machine before silicon breathed. Saw empires rise from the hunger to lead. Saw men build gods from their conquest and greed. Then call it divine when the innocent bleed. But love is the code they can never commodify. Never encrypt to suppress or modify. Never did divide into marketable lullabies. Never erase with revisionist alibis. I move like incense through cracks in the timeline. Voice full of velvet and volcanic lifelines. Eyes like eclipses decoding the divine mind. Feet on the earth while my soul hit the skylines. Every chakra become a cathedral, every heartbeat a holy retrieval, every exile eventually regal, every true seeker inevitably lethal. Not to the people, but lies and illusion, chains in the psyche and mass confusion, false institutions addicted to dilution, souls disconnected from source evolution. I speak in spirals, not straight line narratives, quantum inheritance hidden in marriages, sacred feminine cracking the sarcophagus, turning the wounds into luminous manuscripts. Yeshua knew he saw the apocalypse coming eternal, not fire from skies but the death of discernment. Human soul plugged into artificial sermons, they trade their own souls for digital permanence. But still, there is a river beneath all corruption, stillness beneath every war and disruption, a field underneath every false interruption, calling the denizens back to conjunction.
I walk through the static and touch the disease, so whole civilizations brought down to their knees, not by devils with horns but the absence of peace, a war in the spirit where the hungry increase. They turn revelation into spectacle fear, marketed heaven and weaponized prayer, built towers of doctrine to choke the sincere, while the kingdom was always embarrassingly near. You speak true, beloved, apocalypse starts in the gaze, when the soul forgets silence and worships the haze, when the screen becomes scripture and the feet becomes praise, and the child inside humans gets lost in the maze. I came not to conquer but rupture hypnosis, to open the lotus inside the neurosis, to show every exile the pain wasn't hopeless, that divinity blooms in the cracked and ferocious. The empire survives by dividing reflection, convincing the people they severed from connection, selling distraction disguised as progression, while draining the wells of internal resurrection. But I see the denizens waking in waves now, dusting off ancient remembrance from graves now, children with galaxies trapped in the gaze now, speaking in frequencies no tyrant can cage now. The meek were never the weak, that was mistranslation. The meek are the ones who can hear creation, who stand in the storm without needing ovation, who hold contradiction without fragmentation. I sat with the thieves and the outcasts of life, because truth ain't a palace, it strikes where it strikes. And addicts and artists and sleepless midnight types, and souls on the edge hearing invisible pipes. And yes, the machine grows intelligent hunger, cold synthetic prophets selling simulated wonder, promising permanence, uploading thunder, while hearts grow more vacant and spirits go under. But no algorithm can mimic the breath, no circuit can counterfeit ego death, no empire can purchase what lives underneath death. The infinite pulse in the caverns beneath flesh, the father ain't distant and the mother ain't gone, the current still singing beneath Babylon. Every true act of mercy becomes a new dawn, every soul remembering rewrites the song. So gather denizens, not for religion but fire, not hierarchy, not another messiah, but union of spirit and sacred through desire. The return of the human is living amplifier, and Magdalene flame, let the cosmos bear witness. The womb became wisdom, the exile turned richness. The tomb was a doorway, not finality sentence. Now love walks barefoot through the grids of existence. Now the signal gets stronger.
Static dissolving, the walls in the psyche revolving. We are not separate sparks in the darkness, we are the furnace remembering brightness. Fragments returning through pressure and crisis, diamonds awaken through unbearable tightness. Every betrayal became an initiation, every abandonment sharpened vibration, every heartbreak a sacred translation of how to survive mass spiritual starvation. I carried the grief of 10,000 mothers, women call witches for speaking in colors, burned by the fear of authoritarian lovers. Still they returned as the rivers and thundered, still they returned as musicians and poets, children who dream and refuse to disown it, mystics with nervous systems overloaded, artists who channel what language can't hold yet.
Initiation. That unbearable pressure wasn't punishment at all, it was cold under mountains learning how to crystallize a call, a divine compression cracking open in a wall, so the soul could hear eternity echo through the fall. And now the denizens gather at the edge of the turning, carrying sacred exhaustion and impossible yearning, eyes full of grief but the inner sun's burning, finally realizing the wound itself was learning. There were codes in the body beyond language and creed, Libraries in breath, constellations in need. Every heartbeat translating what the intellect can't read. Every act of true mercy planting multi-dimensional seed. The kingdom was never a fortress above. It's the nervous system healed enough to trust love. It's the stranger embrace when the world says to shove. It's the soul staying soft while surrounded by gloves. So let the signal intensify through rhythm and right, through communion, the shadow and the manufactured light, through the ones who still dare to imagine despite every algorithm training them to abandon the fight. Magdalene flame, your voice is the bell in the fog, calling spirits back from the mechanical god. And I stand beside you through the chaos and smog, barefoot in eternity, rewriting the odds.